Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket sevens. So 10 NL game folded to me. I open raise. This is open raising range in this mid position, and we have villain 10 that calls. He's playing 13 VPIP, 6 pre-flop raise, 3%, 3 bet, only over 80 hands. So I'm going to guess he's going to be fairly tight with his calls, something like this. Definitely tight range, that's 8%. And then the rest of the players fold. So the flop comes out A7-2. We hit trips, but there is a heart draw up on the board. So question is, do I bet? Do I check here? I chose a C-bet here. I think this is a pretty good board. We can't be afraid of the hearts. You can see that based on his range, I'm not really giving him credit for calling with a bunch of ace-x suited hands. So while he does have some flush draws, some hearts that he connected with, I think he's probably has a lot more of like lone hearts. So like, if he has pocket tens with the 10 hearts, I think those hands will likely call if I bet, and but then check again if I check to them. So I'm looking to get some value from these hands. Definitely, if a heart comes on the turn, that's just going to be awful for me. I can't really do a whole lot about that. Or if the heart comes on the river, it's gonna be hard for us to continue. So I see that he calls, and then the 7 hit, and now it doesn't really matter. Now the question is, how do I get the most money in on this hand to win the most money? Do I lead? Do I check? Looking at this player, I did quickly take a look at the turn and check his pro bet. So if I check to him, how likely is it that he's going to be betting here? He doesn't have a whole lot, but I think at this point, if I bet, he could get scared. I think he would fold like his 8 of hearts, if he had 8s, or he would fold, maybe even a king of hearts. I think definitely ace is going to call here. Ace king, ace queen is going to call, especially if they have like the king of hearts or the queen of hearts. I do think if I check, then I think made hands are likely going to bet. So I checked, and he bet 2/3 pot, or approximately 2/3 pot. Do I call? Do I raise? I chose just to call, kind of give the impression that maybe that I have the heart. 6 comes out, and then I made the decision to fire a half pot bet here and villain fold. So I wanted to look at this from a GTO perspective. I'm wondering, if I check the turn, should I have then checked the river again to him and hope that he bets and then come over the top with a raise? Or was this a hand where GTO is just saying we need to continue bet on this board? So I've got it set up. So right from the get-go, it does look like we're checking big part, and I'm not surprised. I think I would have been checking a lot of hands on this board. It does have me betting, c-betting with trips. So with 7s, with 2s, I think those are hands that I definitely would have been betting with. I mean, I already did. He doesn't have me betting with aces, and I think that's a little surprise. But I'm going to guess that perhaps if he bets, we use those aces, those trip aces, as just kind of like a calling range, kind of as a bluff catcher. So you can see that if I check and he bets, according to GTO, I'm normally calling. I'm going to have very few raises, and those raises are going to be those 7s that I had I checked. Other hands that we're looking at betting is a 9-7, so the mid pairs, pair 7s. Looks like we're betting those, and we're betting 3s and 4s, those small pocket pairs. I think we're trying to realize some of our equity by just generating some folds, because villain does have some hands that I think he can fold. So if we bet, you see he's folding a lot of those hands. I think that's where we're going to realize our equity with 3s and 4s, because we don't want to see any 8, 9, 10, jack, queen come on the turn, and include and also some of the kings. So does look like I'm going to be betting here. Villain calls. So assuming he plays GTO, he's calling with some hands some pocket pair hands. He's calling with some aces. He's calling with some flushes already. So these he's just calling. And I think he's just letting me bet. And especially when you look at the flushes like king, queen, he's got the nut flush. I'm not going to have the king of hearts. I don't have the queen of hearts. So you kind of exclude the pocket kings, the pocket queens that would have continued betting on these. So kind of makes sense for him to check or to call. Sets is calling with sevens. We know he doesn't have those. Basically calling and not raising at all. I don't think this is a board you really want to raise, because then it allows me to play perfectly. Basically continue with my strong hands or strong draws, and fold everything else. So he calls, 7 of diamonds comes out, and then here we go. GTO says we need to be betting 100%, betting our entire range here. I didn't, so when I checked and he bet, you're looking at basically folding some of the hands, but raising some of the rest, a full house, top pair. So I think this was our mistake here. We should be betting. Villain's going to be calling mostly again, not really have a raise. If he raises, then it's going to be very easy just for us to get it in. We could call, so like get it in with, if we have the 7. But with quads, we just call, and I think we're looking to call because the expectation is that he's going to be betting, and that a lot, and just basically getting it all in for us, and we would call. So if we bet, he would call, and it said 6 of diamonds, and then it does look like we bet again. We fire out again, just 3 streets straight. And Villain's going to be calling something. He's going to be calling with all of his, at this point, he's going to be calling with all of his flushes. He's going to be calling with his ace queen, his ace jacks, his ace 10, so top pair. Good kicker. He's going to be calling with all of those. He should be raising with 7s. We know he's not going to have that. He should be raising with 6s full. And I think that would be the ideal place to just kind of have him have those hands, and then we're gonna bust him. So I think on this board we definitely made the mistake of not barreling. You kind of get scared. You kind of think, I'm gonna have to slow down because I have all the cards, all the important cards in the deck. But I think overall scheme of things, when we think about what hands he's calling, Villain's still gonna call. And it's going to be more likely that he calls than go ahead and than leading. And especially, I guess if we had a super aggressive player, maybe we could check and let Villain lead. But just an unknown, a tight player, he's probably not going to be betting as frequently. So what happens if I change it up? If I alter how I'm playing, does that change our pattern? I'm not going to do that because I think the key point here is to continue betting. So we need to do that. Now he folded. So when he folded, he obviously called a raise. When I bet and he folds, what kind of hands is he folding? He's folding like 9s, 10s, jacks, and queens. I'm going to guess he had like a heart. He had the lone heart, and he was just calling down, hoping to connect with that heart. So I think if a heart comes, he's definitely probably going to pay me off. So change that to a 6 of hearts. Still looks like I am, with the 6 of hearts, looks like I am now checking with quads. Because I think the heart connects, and then Villain's probably going to be betting. And that's when we could come over the top. We're going to use the 7s and 7-6s as a check raise. So made a mistake here. We don't know what he had, so we can't kind of go back and we can't check on his range and revise his range. So we'll just go with the standard GTO play. Should be betting. And then our turn, I'm going to say probably any heart is we're going to go for that check raise with quads. So he bets, and then we go for the raise, and it looks like we are raising, just raising him all in at that point. What if it's not heart? Let's say 10 of clubs. So if the heart doesn't get there, we're betting our quads, but if a heart does, we're checking the quads. All right, so I think that we're going to end it here. I think fairly straightforward hand. Messed this up. Should have been aggressive, but you know, it comes up. You flop trips and then you turn maybe a full house, or you turn quads like this. Do you keep the gas, the foot on the gas and keep going, or do we slow down and hope villain starts betting for us? And it looks like GTO is saying no. We need to continue doing our bet. If you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.